The call came in just before sunset. A construction worker's voice trembled on the other end of the phone as he explained that faint cries were echoing from deep beneath an abandoned lot. At first, they thought it was the wind squeezing through broken pipes. But when the sound didn't stop, thin, desperate, unmistakably alive, they realized a puppy had somehow fallen into a narrow shaft in the earth. 18 feet down, alone. When we arrived, the opening was barely wider than a manhole, hidden between piles of dirt and rubble. The air smelled of damp soil and rusted metal. We lay flat against the ground and listened carefully. There it was again, a tiny whimper drifting up from darkness. It's hard to describe the feeling in moments like that. Your heart races, your mind calculates risks, but your focus sharpens into one clear purpose: get the puppy out alive. We lowered a flashlight tied to a rope. The beam disappeared into blackness before finally catching movement. 2 frightened eyes reflected back at us. The puppy was wedged against the side of the shaft, covered in mud, trembling, too scared to even bark loudly anymore. He had likely been down there for hours, maybe longer, without food, water, or warmth. The shaft was too narrow for a full descent with bulky gear. We had to improvise. Carefully, we secured ropes and harnesses while making sure the unstable ground wouldn't collapse further. Every movement had to be deliberate. One wrong step could cause loose dirt to fall, injuring the puppy or trapping him deeper. As we worked, we spoke softly down into the hole. "It's okay, baby, we're here." He couldn't understand our words, but tone matters. Compassion carries even through darkness. The crying softened slightly, as if he sensed help had arrived. One rescuer carefully lowered himself partway into the shaft, bracing against the sides. The walls were slick, and bits of dirt kept crumbling away. From above, we held the safety line tight. Inch by inch, he descended until he was close enough to see the puppy clearly. The little one tried to press himself into the dirt, terrified by the movement above him. Fear is powerful. For a small animal trapped underground, every shadow is danger. Every sound is a threat. So we paused. No sudden moves. Just patience. The rescuer extended a gentle loop. Our trusted snare. Slowly, giving the puppy space to sniff, to assess, to decide that maybe this strange object wasn't another threat. Seconds felt like hours. Then, in one fragile moment, the loop was carefully placed. Secure, but gentle. "Got him," came the whisper from below. The tension above shifted instantly. Slowly, so slowly, we began lifting. The puppy whimpered again as his paws left the dirt floor, swinging lightly against the shaft walls. Dirt sprinkled down like rain. We steadied the rope, guiding him upward while the rescuer climbed alongside. When his muddy head finally emerged into the light, everyone exhaled at once. 18 feet of darkness replaced by open sky. He blinked rapidly, overwhelmed by brightness and noise. His tiny body shook uncontrollably as we wrapped him in a soft blanket. Up close, we could see just how young he was, still more baby than dog. His fur was caked with earth, his nose crusted with dust, but his eyes held something extraordinary. Relief. We checked him immediately for injuries. Miraculously, aside from dehydration and exhaustion, he appeared intact. No broken limbs, no visible trauma, just fear and confusion. He pressed himself against the nearest warm body, as if instinctively understanding he was finally safe. Back at the rescue vehicle, we offered small sips of water. At first, he hesitated, then began drinking eagerly. It's amazing how quickly life returns when hope replaces danger. The same puppy who had been silent and trembling underground was now cautiously looking around, absorbing this new world. On the ride to the veterinary clinic, he fell asleep wrapped in the blanket, his tiny chest rising and falling steadily. The chaos of the rescue was behind him. Ahead lay care, warmth, and something he may have never known before, a real chance. At the clinic, the staff couldn't believe the story. 18 feet underground. It sounded impossible, yet there he was, living proof of resilience. After a warm bath, the mud washed away to reveal soft golden fur. Underneath all that dirt was a beautiful puppy who simply needed someone to notice him. Over the next few days, his transformation began. With regular meals, medical checks, and gentle affection, his personality blossomed. The fear in his eyes softened into curiosity. He discovered toys. He discovered belly rubs. He discovered that hands could comfort instead of harm. We named him something strong, something that reflected both his ordeal and his survival. Watching him wobble playfully across the foster home floor, you would never guess he had once stared up at a sliver of sky from the bottom of the earth. Rescues like this are never simple. They require coordination, courage, and sometimes risk. Entering unstable ground isn't taken lightly. But when you hear a helpless cry from beneath the earth, you don't ignore it. You prepare, you plan, and you act. There's something deeply symbolic about pulling a life out of darkness. About reaching into a place most would overlook and bringing light with you. That day reminded all of us why we do this work. Not for praise, not for recognition, but for that exact moment when fear turns into safety, when a fragile heartbeat continues because someone chose not to walk away. The puppy's story didn't end at rescue. Weeks later, he found a forever home, one with a secure yard, loving humans, and another playful dog to keep him company. The first time we saw a photo of him sprawled comfortably on a couch, we smiled. From 18 feet underground to the center of a family's living room. Every rescue carries risk, every mission carries uncertainty, but hope is stronger than fear. And sometimes, hope requires ropes, teamwork, and the willingness to lean into danger for the sake of a small life that cannot save itself. That abandoned shaft is quiet now. The cries are gone. In their place remains a story, a reminder that even in the darkest, deepest places, life can be lifted back into the light. And somewhere tonight, a once trapped puppy sleeps safely, unaware of how close he came to being forgotten beneath the earth.